We are so glad to have Mr. Thomas Cheung as the moderator. Together with Gerald and Professor Benjamin Chiao of Shenzhen AI Industry Association to come on stage. The panel theme is the AI revolution.
The morning session, AI and
Please.
Thank you so much.
Thomas, the floor is yours.
Okay, audience, I think, I have something to add onto the system that we are trying to demonstrate today. Actually, the QR code is pretty important. Would you please just go back to the this QR code page, please? Actually, the app that you are going to use is an AI instant translation product done by CINNOX. So I suggest you guys to. Anyway, you should download this QR code one way or the other, and then as a matter of fact, I haven't seen that by myself, so I don't know the full description. I want to have someone who knows it, what's going on to explain it a bit better. So can Lawrence or someone else, I don't know, can you just explain, how this app operates? How the system operates.
Okay, I explained the second time. Actually, I explained a little bit before. I tried it before. Please scan the QR code, and then they will ask you to input your telephone number or the mobile email address, and then you can get the passcode. Please input the passcode to the system, and then you can log into the translation service. And then you can choose the text. You can see the transcribed language in your selected language in Putonghua, Chinese, or English. And then there's the button, you can click it to have hear the voice of Putonghua or English.
I do it myself. I want to do it myself, otherwise I don't know what's going on. Okay. Okay, thank you. So feel free to do it. Okay. Okay, anyway, thank you so much, and thanks for waiting. For this forum, we are going to discuss, we're so happy to have, two experts here, one Gerald and the other Benjamin. I know them, both of them, from, actually Benjamin, I know him from my different associations and from my work, and I know Gerald from my, we are collaborators and also.
AI and Web3 shaping an intelligent digital future will open at 10 minutes past 10. You are all welcome to join in the main stage.
Sorry.
AI and Web3 塑造智能的数字化未来论坛将于10:10于主会场举行，欢迎大家前往参与。AI and Web3 數造智能的數字化未來論壇將於10:10於主會場舉行，歡迎大家。
There's broadcasting now in English and Chinese.
Gerald actually is a co-worker of ours, and also we're working together on. Actually, I'm not part of CINNOX, but somehow he's part of CINNOX now.
AI and Web3 shaping an intelligent digital future will open at 10 minutes past 10. You are all welcome to join in the main stage. AI and Web3 造主智能的数字化未来论坛将于10:10于主会场举行，欢迎大家前往参与。AI and Web3 數造智能的數字化未來論壇將於10:10於主會場舉行，歡迎大家前往參與。
So actually, sorry, backstage guys, would you please ask the organizer, try not to disrupt, other session, doing, just don't make any announcement, during the session. Thank you. Okay, let's go back to our forum. So Gerald and Benjamin, would you please briefly introduce yourself, who you are, and where you come from, a bit of your background, and what do you want to share with us today? Briefly, just briefly.
I'm pleased to be here. My name is Benjamin Chiao, Zhao Kefeng, Jiu Hakfeng. I'm currently setting up the China Artificial Intelligence Industry Association. We just got approved. We had some earlier preparation. Currently, I'm academic chair of the Shenzhen Artificial Intelligence Industry Association. 中国人工智能产业协会，还有深圳市人工智能产业协会。I started off as a professor at Peking University in the economics department and also the information system department. In the last 10 years, I've done three things. Not just sitting in the professor's room, I also go into the industry. I set up a fintech bank. I'm on the board, which went on to become the most profitable bank per capita in China. And I also personally owned an incubator in Shenzhen under the Shenzhen 市人工智能产业协会 Shenzhen Artificial Intelligence Industry Association, which is currently the most profitable incubator in Shenzhen. I'm currently also, the third thing is I also set up a China headquarters of one of the largest intellectual property company in the world called IPV. We have helped technology transfer in the last 10 years in the volume of $500 billion US. And the company revenue is about $50 billion US. So the headquarters, I just invited them to China in the last 2 years. I'm currently China chief economist of this IP company.
Thank you, Benjamin. Gerald, please.
Yeah. Well, I'm mostly a private research analyst. I actually ran a private technology research fund earlier, which got me involved in VR, blockchain, and AI quite early on. So that turned into running an Ethereum fund when it was still single digits. But through the research, I found everything about AI, the beginning of computer vision, because after Web3 sort of took a dip, I switched those GPUs over to something else instead to try and build models around 2016. And I also wrote a VR course that ran in Zhuhai at the early days of VR around 2016, so it's a bilingual course. I also won awards in metaverse asset building, so I won the Sandbox prize for the Dead Mouse Sandbox contest, first prize, which was the first NFT that they minted and handed out. And it used voxels. I found new techniques on how to model with voxels that made more complex models in that case. And now I'm focusing on other areas. I'm going back to AI and seeing what sort of models and use cases could be created, and also delving deeper into the hardware.
Yeah, thank you so much. So actually today, the topic is, we're talking about AI, and one focus, one jargon or keyword that we want to talk about is cross-border. AI, cross-border, and also maybe supercomputing, what next, okay. So, Gerald, as per your experience, what is the definition of AI? You mentioned a lot, but somehow, what is the exact definition of AI to you, maybe in simple words?
It's just new possibilities based on patterns, and the more complex the patterns, the more possibilities can be done. So this could lead to new discoveries, quicker methods of doing processes. So it's similar to system thinking, as seeing it as a whole.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, actually, as well, my training, I was computer scientist as well, back in the late 80s and early 90s. And then at that time, they don't have data scientists, but I study statistics, mathematics, and computer science. So I exactly understand what you're talking about, because pretty much, we are all all those processes are modeling and data pattern matching, optimization, that kind of things. But you know, when we talk about AI, what's the difference between, you know, now and then? I mean, like before in the 80s, 90s, and maybe Benjamin, if you can give us some insight.
I think as early as the Turing's time, he you know, started off with this Turing machine and also Turing's test to answer the question whether how do we assess whether a machine is intelligent. That's pretty much one of the early starts of this discussion. So at this point, at this crossroad in time, I think we should be very concerned about the development, because China has missed the first, second, and also the third industrial revolution. And the fourth one, the current one, is all about AI, I think. So what is the difference? Coming back to your question, I think right now we are talking about, we talk a lot about Web 3.0. I think Web 1.0, we have solved the problem of readability. Web 2.0, we solved the problem of writability. And Web 3.0 may be about ownability, if there is such a word. Because we're talking about ownable webs through, for example, decentralization. Because it's decentralized, everyone can own a small part of it. We can use other tokens, you know, crypto coins, and so on to do transactions. This is pretty much what our company, IPV, is doing.
Yeah, I think, yeah, you bring a very good word. It's about ownership and also the value of those data. You know, before, you know, we probably cannot really value a data, and it's very hard for us to, you know, to give a value or, you know, to the data or the result. We can give the value to the result only, but not to the data itself and not to the flow of data. And somehow through maybe blockchain, the existing of blockchain, and a lot more others, solution cryptos as a way to, you know, incentivize, you know, people putting effort into some jobs or whatsoever, and then they can create certain value, which is a virtual asset, and then virtual asset should have its own value, and then the transit. I mean, when you transfer those assets, you know, you also generate value and some price difference. So this kind of economy or ecosystem is something very new, and then together with AI, that make a big difference. Is that what you think, or can you add on something?
Well, I'd say that blockchain is possibly the technology that would make AI more fake-proof in a sense, because with the ability of AI to generate things that can't be justified and measured, I think blockchain can be applied to that to make sure that the information that's created is genuine or original or authentic, and I think this is something that's going to grow over time. Also, regarding transformation, generally markets are seeing things to be more, seeing value in things that are even more so intangible. So you can see with music, films, it carries the same value as the physical assets that they used to be pegged on.
Sure. It's always something like in the past, you know, somehow we cannot really get hold of something intangible or, you know, to assess a value. And, you know, somehow at this stage, you know, we have all the tools somehow to make it happen. Is that what you think?
Sure.
Just like, you know, in the past, you know, we cannot assess the value of some intangible or virtual stuff. But somehow right now, at this very stage, blockchain or maybe some other stuff, maybe some other tools make it happen. So what is your comment on that?
I see. I think it is similar to the why LLM succeeded, at least somewhat, right? Before, it was just a bunch of data without value. Somehow there is some change, reform in the system in some way so to make the data variable. And what was that? Just a few years ago, no one believed that the trend at that time was that to improve the algorithm to extract more accurate, more precise information from data. But then with the advancement in hardware and computational power, the paradigm just changed upside down. No one believed that. It really boils down to brute forcing LLMs. So a few years back, no one believed that just put in a bunch of data with a lot of computers, something sensible would come out, and it did happen.
Yeah, it's really amazing, you know. Before, you know, theoretically it won't happen, but for some strange reason, you know, it's there somehow. Yeah, we are talking about the LLM. Like a ChatGPT is a part of LLM, and somehow before, you know, well, when we do the calculation, there's no way, you know, something sensible, meaningful, you know, will be there, but of some strange reason, even though we don't know whether they understand the whole meaning of you know, that knowledge base, but somehow something meaningful come out. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, actually, a lot of those pattern recognition systems that neural nets are using now were around in the 70s and 80s, but the technology wasn't powerful enough. And the interesting thing is the idea of AI was actually being researched by neurologists. So their goal was to figure out how the human brain works and try to model that. And then suddenly these LLMs came about, and
you are jumping from neural networking to a total different, you know, mechanism. Yeah, so to say. So I also want to touch upon like the cross-border stuff. Right now, Hong Kong is in a very good position to do a lot of things. Just like before, you know, Hong Kong, you know, after every single incident, there's a great transformation or a way of evolution to evolve into something new. And then this time, you know, I realized that, you know, Hong Kong, if we can really somehow to get hold of the cross-border data policy in a much better way, there may be something very meaningful that can happen to Hong Kong. Would you please share, you know, some of your insight or, you know, what you expect?
Cross-border issues are part of a bigger problem currently facing the Greater Bay Area, which is factor price movement. I talk about this pretty often on televisions in the last 10 years. If you look at the markets, there are product markets, there are factor price market. For example, if you buy DJI drones, you can buy one in here, you can buy one in China, maybe in the States also, right? But not that easy. If you want to visit physicians, you know, we have American physicians in China, physicians in Hong Kong, they are not cross-border, you know, they cannot work cross-border that easily. So this is a key area which the government is moving towards. Data is one thing. For factor price, it means anything that inputs to a firm that could produce output, including data, including raw material, including human. For us, the Shenzhen 私人工厂协会 Shenzhen Artificial Intelligence Industrial Association, we are working towards that. Right now, we have obtained approval already that for the engineers that we trained in China, it will be mutually recognized by Macau. And perhaps Hong Kong, we are working on that also.
So, since you are in Shenzhen,
yes,
and you also travel a lot to Hong Kong, yes, and forth, how would you foresee, you know, what would be the consequence, or maybe what's the impact, you know, having, you know, those cross-border data being able to come to Hong Kong and back and forth?
So currently in our association, half of the Chinese AI unicorns are within our association. Huawei is our vice president. No, so we are already seeing amid this international tension, the tension between the U.S. and China, that some of our firms, our member firms, are forced to move to Hong Kong because their clients said, if you're in mainland China, we are not giving you the order. You may give the money, come to Hong Kong, so that we are be more sure about the safety of their data, and also for some many reasons. But they will just say, if you're a Hong Kong company, we will send the order to you, but not that when you are in China. So there is already a need on the demand side. On the supply side, in Hong Kong, there are a lot of scientists right now not coming to China but in Hong Kong. So these could potentially be a differentiator market, different market in China in terms of these types of scientists, in terms of nationality and so on.
Exactly. In Hong Kong right now, the government, they are getting very fascinated about some genome data and also some biomedical data. Before those data are not really accessible by company in Hong Kong, but right after the so-called cross-border data policy, it may be possible for those data to come over to Hong Kong in a packet, and that's why government they're trying to promote and try to attract some like MNC pharmaceutical firm to come to Hong Kong to get hold of those data and try to do something. So, what's your opinion on that? I mean, do you think would there be any other applications that you can imagine or think of, other than pharmaceutical applications?
Well, I think cross-border data will be more important because as AI evolves, there would be a need for global policies across borders as well to regulate and deal with this data. Because at the moment, a lot of everything's sort of sharing the same data, so the outputs are limited. But if you've got specific data, you can create partnerships between two cultures that are sharing.
Yeah, we got different races, and we also got different a much bigger population size in mainland China. So I think exactly that it should be very promising in the coming future, together with AI. Yeah.
I think this is a very important step because we face stricter policy in the government in recent years. So economists have been questioning about the delineations between the market and the government. So when there's a policy there, then the government is not doing anything, officials are not doing anything. Now Hong Kong is becoming a window, which I think would continue to be a melting pot and a place for the East and West to share interests, share data, okay? Because especially for some of these, amid this tension of international politics, many things can be used as an excuse to stop or find a business. Right? Alstom is dismembered by the United States. Huawei is about to be dismembered, but they succeeded. Toshiba was dismembered somewhat by the United States. So somehow, if in Hong Kong, the West and the East can share their co-own a company here, for example, then that kind of excuse would not be that easily used to stop the growth of a certain company. So I think this is particularly meaningful, I think.
We have to closing down the session very soon. So would you please maybe, Gerald, in a simple words, also Benjamin, in simple words to describe your expectation for AI, not the impact or whatsoever, but your expectation how it can improve, human beings' livelihood, or maybe some other in other aspect, just in simple sentences. You expect for this region? Okay, sorry.
I think it'll push the limits of what human beings can do when they use AI. It'll open new discoveries and new capabilities. And that's something that will be shared with everyone when that happens. Not everyone may be using AI, but those that do, through a transitional level, will create new things.
Yeah. I'll talk about the trend of AI. In fact, I will talk about the trend of everything. I think there is some tendency for the trend to move in certain ways. For example, as I said, Web 1.0 is about readability, and then 2.0 writability. The third one is ownability. And the fourth one, I think, would be the general, I think, wisdom perhaps is about any trend is that it will move the opposite way. So for whatever the next trend is, the next trend will be the opposite of the other direction. Whatever trend it is moving something away from some balance. So you have a lot of readability, so people want to be seen and they want writability. So for the third trend is ownability. So I think the fourth one will be the ownability. So that's maybe why we are seeing some development of graceful AI.
Thank you so much. I think it's a very interesting discussion. I hope we got more time, but somehow there's limitation here as well. So thanks again, Gerald and Benjamin, for your excellent sharing. Thanks.
Thank you, Thomas, Gerald, and Professor Chiao.